Hi. So we are going to do an experiment for science today instead of doing science all together. And the things that you can use for this experiment are things you probably have at home. So I'm going to show you all the materials that you need and then we're going to do it together. So the first thing that you need is a bag. This one's like about a sandwich size one. You could probably use a bigger one if you had a bigger one. Like if you have one left over from supplies I've sent you home. You also need a permanent marker because we're going to be drawing on our bag. You need 1/3 a cup of water. So if you have a way like measuring cups that you could use to measure your water, I put mine in this cup since I don't have a sink super close to me in our classroom. And then the last one is optional. You can have this or not have it, but you might want to use food coloring if you have any at home because we're going to be doing something with the water and it'll make it easier to see, but you don't have to have this part. So you might have done this before. We are going to make a water cycle in a bag. So if you look underneath my camera, I have this printout. I'll put it on Google Classroom for you if you can print, but if you can't print, it's okay because we're going to draw this together so you can just draw what I'm drawing on your bag. But we've been learning about water on Earth, saltwater versus freshwater, and about the water cycle and where you can find water on Earth. So this shows you all of the steps of the water cycle, and we're going to build our own mini water cycle. So you take your bag. You can kind of see on mine, it has like these little dots where the edges of your bag should go, but if you don't have this paper, it's okay. You can just set yours down and draw like about where I draw. But I'm going to put mine on top. And we're going to draw these parts of the water cycle on our bag. So I'll start with the sun. That's really important because it heats the water. And that's an important part of the water cycle. And you could just make a sun like that, or you can make yours have cool sunglasses like theirs does. Doesn't matter. These little arrows are showing evaporation. So I'm going to try to write that on my bag. Okay. Let's see. At the bottom, I also have these mountains. So I don't have mountains as a part of my bag. I guess I could try to build something like that. Like if I had rock or gravel or something, I could put that in there to represent the mountains. But we're going to do something a little bit different. We're just going to tilt our water cycle to kind of represent the runoff since we don't have like mountains or anything in there. But this is a part of the water cycle because when you have parts of the land that are higher, like a mountain or a hill, the water runs downward and then it gets collected somewhere down here at the bottom, like in a river or an ocean. So that's the collection. Let's see, I'm missing just a couple of parts. So these clouds, I can't really see mine through the paper that well, so I'm just going to kind of make my own. These represent condensation. And then what falls from the clouds? Rain, snow, sleet. That is precipitation. So again, you could make raindrops like they made. You could make snowflakes. You could make just little dots for sleet. Whatever you want it to look like. Okay, I think I have all the parts of my water cycle. Let's see. Cool. So I drew all of my parts on there. I labeled all of the parts of my water cycle. Now comes the fun part. You actually get to add the water and the food coloring. So I have my 1/3 cup water. And it just made me realize we have one more thing that we need. So I'm gonna add my 1/3 cup in there. And then something I am going to add to mine is just a drop or two of food coloring. You don't need very much because a little bit goes a long way. But I'm gonna add blue just so my water is a little bit easy to see. And, ooh, it made it very dark. I used 2 drops. You probably need even less. Okay, and then seal your bag up really well. I'm gonna shake mine a little bit just to make sure it's all mixed. Okay, so I can't sadly show you the next part here under my document camera, but I'm gonna tell you what to do. So you need tape. That's the one material that I forgot to teach you about. And with your tape, you need to find a place in your home near a window where you can tape your water cycle, because we talked about sunlight heating the water causes a part of the water cycle to happen. So our water cycle isn't going to work unless it's near sunlight. So you want kind of a sunny place that you could tape it in your window. You could do it in your bedroom or somewhere else if your family says it's okay. And then the other thing, I'm going to show you with mine, but you want to tilt your bag just a little bit when you hang it up so that the water is closer to the collection side. Because we want this to be a model of the water running off the mountains, and so it would be going a little bit downhill to do that. So once you finish your bag, if you tape this up in a window and you kind of keep an eye on it over a few days, you'll be able to see the water cycle happening inside your bag. You'll see some places where the water starts evaporating. You'll see some beads of water at the top that are condensation. And once it gets too heavy, that will fall down again to the bottom of your water cycle. It's very cool. So to make this, all you need is a bag, 1/3 a cup of water, tape, which I forgot, so you can tape it up, a permanent marker, and if you choose, food coloring. So you guys can build yours, and then we'll keep an eye on these as we're learning more about water and science for the rest of the week. Cool. Happy experimenting.